officially introduce our speaker, just want to remind everyone to please be respectful to our speaker this evening. And he will speak for a couple of minutes, and then if you have questions at the end, Megan will call all questions. So raise your hand and Megan will call all questions for us tonight. And our guest tonight is a lifelong Kansan and Jayhawk. While attending KU, he served as the student body president, after which he served on the Student Bar Association as president of KU Law. Since graduating, he has represented the 20th District in the Kansas House of Representatives, where he has served on several committees, including acting as chair of the Budget Appropriations Committee. So without further ado, please help me welcome back the Republican running for the 3rd District, Kevin Yoder.
Thanks, Austin. Appreciate being here. Well, we just wanted to come by for a couple minutes tonight. I think this is your first maybe full meeting of the Senate for the year, so I'm sure you're all excited to get back at it. I was in the Senate, I think, from about 1994 to 1999, so I had a nice run there, and finished up as student body president. It was kind of the pre-clicker era. We didn't really have clickers back in those days, and I'm not really sure how those work. But we had a lot of fun nights here in the Kansas room, meetings till 2 or 3 in the morning as we worked on issues. And so I know how hard your work is, and I know you all really worked hard to get elected last spring, and you have a lot of ideas. And Student Senate for me was an amazing opportunity to learn a lot about leadership and meet a lot of great people, and I would look at it as one of the most important leadership experiences of my life here at campus. And so I look back on it, it's just a great experience. So I hope you're enjoying it. For some of you, it's maybe your first year at it. Stick with it. You always have a few people that drop off and you have other things going. It's a great activity if you can stick with it. And my experience was one in which you could really learn, you could really do things on campus. You could really actually change things. You know, we were elected in 1998, and shortly thereafter, we really started working on a problem on campus that a lot of students were complaining about: the recreation center. We had Robinson as our main recreation center, the Robinson academic facility, and you could only use it from 6 a.m. until 8 a.m. And like from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for recreation. The rest of the time it's used for academics. And you know, for those of you who've gone to Ambler and you know the Ambler facility, you know what a great facility that is on campus and what it does for campus life. And so we set about trying to fix this problem, and we knew that if we created a new recreation facility and found a way to get students to come together, it would be a great spot for student life and recreation, healthy living, and all that stuff. And we put together a referendum that ultimately got the Student Rec Center passed, and that's what got it built our year, that idea. And so that to me was a great example of how you can actually, if you work hard and you put together a coalition of folks, you can actually do things to improve the campus around you just as a student. And so for me, that was an amazing experience. So I look upon all of you as a great opportunity to learn this year. I want to introduce a few people that are with me tonight. And first, I do want to congratulate all of you on winning, and particularly your president and vice president team. I know you guys ran a great campaign, and I know you've got a lot of ideas, and so good luck and everything, and very impressed with your work so far. I did want to introduce a few people. My wife, Brooke, is here. Brooke was an off-campus senator a few years back, and so she's kind of got a homecoming of sorts as well. And then Cord Maxwell is here. Cord Maxwell was student body president the year after I was. He succeeded me, and wasn't quite as good as I was, but he tried. Now Cord was a great student body president as well, and he's been really helping out in our campaign now for Congress, and so we wanted him to come by tonight. And I think you said it was the first time you've been in a student senate meeting since you left here as a student body president. So that goes back a few years for you, buddy. So, anyway, again, I'm happy to be here. I know you guys have a lot of great ideas. I'll tell you one of the things that I look back at the rec center and the different projects we worked on. I'll tell you the one real thing of pride that still sticks for me that I think really helped Student Senate is we hired Diana. And that's probably the highlight of all the things we did. And I know she's been a great secretary, and so treat her nicely. She's someone who works hard, and I always just loved having her in the office. And we hired her in the middle of the year. Our secretary had left, and we were looking for someone new, and we interviewed her, and here she is, 10 years later or whatever, still 10, 12 years later, still as a secretary, and it's kind of it's timeless there. Everybody kind of gets to know Diana if you come through Student Senate. So stick with her, and she'll help you along. She was great for me when we were in office. A little bit about what we're doing now. As Alex said, for the last 8 years, I've served in the Kansas House. I represent Overland Park and Leawood. And I'm sure some of you are from Johnson County or grew up in that area. I grew up in rural Kansas, actually near a little town called Hutchinson, or actually near Hutchinson, near a little town called Yoder, Kansas. For those of you who know that area, out by Wichita, Reno County area. It was at KU for undergrad and law school. And since that time, I've been in the legislature over the last 8 years, an amazing experience serving the people of that area. Again, these leadership skills that you learn right here in Student Senate have paid off for me because I've learned how to work with folks that I don't always agree with. People who have a lot of different ideas, and it's a challenging environment, just like Student Senate was. And I tell you, the campaigns at Student Senate were probably some of the most educational for me because you really got to get out and visit with voters one-on-one. And we do that now still to this day. Now I'm running for Congress, running for Dennis Moore's seat in Congress. There are 4 congressmen in Kansas. Those of you who don't follow the congressional races that closely, there's Jerry Moran out in the Big First, which is rural Kansas. There's Lynn Jenkins in the 2nd District, which is right around the Topeka area all the way down to like Pittsburgh. There is Todd Tiehart in the 4th District. That's the Wichita area. And then Dennis Moore is the 3rd District congressman, and he's retiring, so it's an open seat. And the district is all of Johnson County, all of Wyandotte County, and half of Douglas County, Iowa Street East, and north of 6th Street. So a lot of you may actually live in the 3rd District right now. If you live on campus, you live in the 3rd District. If you live in fraternity sororities in the area, you live in the 3rd District. Scholarship halls, most of the apartments. And so, I just want to come and visit with all of you and just remind you of how important it is what you're doing and what it meant to me, and also just kind of talk with you about politics statewide and nationally as we engage in this congressional race to face some of the very difficult challenges we're facing in Washington. And just like here on campus where you fight shortages of resources and you try to put together projects at the state level and the federal level, it's the same type of concept. And we're working very hard to get out and engage a lot of voters and talk about those issues. Unemployment is now almost 10% for a long period, almost the longest period since the Depression. We've had unemployment this high. In fact, we were looking at some statistics earlier today, and unemployment amongst I think 18 to 24-year-olds is almost 50%. That's pretty scary when you're going through college and you're taking on student loans and you expect to come out and have a job for you. A lot of those jobs aren't there right now. And so my goal is to go to Congress and get jobs created in the private sector, get small business owners working again, get people who have dreams from college to be able to find jobs, to be able to move forward. And I want to work very hard on that to get our economy running again. I also am concerned about national spending. Our national debt right now is $13 trillion. When you get out of college, that means every single one of you are indebted for $120,000. It's a lot of money to not only not have a job and also have a national debt rung up in your name for $13 trillion. And at the end of the day, it's going to be your generation, somewhat my generation, who's going to have to resolve some of these issues because we're the ones who have to pay the bill. And so these are really important issues for college students to focus on and be concerned about because ultimately they're going to affect you probably as much or more than anybody in this country. And that's why it's a compelling campaign and a compelling set of issues that I think affects this campus and affects the student body and affects the people you're representing. So you represent a constituency. Those constituents have campus concerns, they've got state concerns, and they've got federal concerns. And this national debt situation is one that is going to plague them, and then unemployment is going to plague them. And so I think there's some real problems, and I think our country's headed in the wrong direction. I want to work very hard to represent this district, the 3rd District, represent the people of Kansas. I love Kansas. I love Lawrence. In fact, we just opened up a campaign office in downtown Lawrence today over at 8th and Vermont. And so there'll be a lot of opportunities for students to help out and participate if you'd like, to get involved in a campaign in which we're going to go shake things up in Washington and bring some new young energy to the problems they're facing there. And so love to have you on board to help with that. For those of you who know Eric Foss was a student senator last year. Eric's helping out with our campaign, and Eric and I will be around afterwards, and we'd love to visit with you if you want to, after our comments, to step outside and sign you up if you're interested in getting involved. I know a lot of you guys like to get involved in stuff, and so this is another opportunity to get involved in something very significant for your future and for your campus and for your country. So again, thanks for having me here tonight, and look forward to getting to know each one of you personally as we